Hey there, I'm Brant Zip at Crocker Farm Auction. We're just doing a few more videos of lots that we're going to be selling on Saturday at our big fall 2019 Stoneware and Redware auction. If you're not familiar with our auctions, we do 3 a year, March, July, and October, and our fall 2019 one is October 26th. And so we have some great, as usual, some really nice museum quality examples. We usually sell at least 500 lots of antique American Stoneware and Redware pottery. So anyway, anyone's welcome to come out to the auctions, and then there's a bunch of ways to bid online and over the phone, things like that. So anyway, I always like to give a little bit of a rundown of that if you're not familiar with our auctions. But anyway, I thought this was a great opportunity to show you some rare central Pennsylvania stoneware. And a few years ago, time really flies, but I guess this was like 5 years ago or more, my brother Luke and I did a talk at the Historical Society of Dauphin County in Harrisburg on the topic of basically central Pennsylvania stoneware. So it was on Harrisburg stoneware, and then we also discussed these other potteries that kind of cropped up around the center of Harrisburg and made stoneware sort of in light of the potteries of Cowden and Wilcox and the other firms that worked around the middle of the 19th century and then toward the end of the century in Harrisburg. And there were a bunch of them because that center was so dominant. And one of the rarest potters or shops working within that tradition was that located in Center County in a place called Mount Eagle. And so this is basically, like if you want to Google map this place, if you're not familiar with where it is, you can just search Howard, Pennsylvania, and that would show you the general vicinity of Mount Eagle. But the potter that owned this shop was John B. Leathers, and his pottery, according to Phil Schultenbrand in his excellent book, Big Ware Turners, always like to make sure we highlight the great books that are out there on American stoneware. It's one of my favorite stoneware books. It is on Pennsylvania stoneware in general, so it was a big undertaking, and it has tons of info in it. But anyway, he talks about how John B. Leathers established his pottery in Mount Eagle in 1862. And as late as 1874, I found a cool town map that showed the location of his Mount Eagle shop that I put in our catalog, but I'm not sure if this is on the website or not. It may be. If not, you can always get a copy of our catalog or Google around, you might be able to find this map. But anyway, this shows the exact location of his pottery, which is always kind of cool to see. But at any rate, that's in 1874. So his shop he was in business a long time. But there are relatively few signed examples from this pottery. And on top of that, what I'm showing you today is the most coveted central Pennsylvania stoneware form, which is the batter pail. Now, I don't want to get too in the weeds here, but it's unclear if these were actually batter pails or batter jugs. They may have been made for some other use, but the modern collecting term for these is batter pail. And they will have this handle, usually a metal handle, and it'll have the wooden proper handle on it. And they'll sometimes have tin covers, things like that. But this form of like with the spout, sort of like a pitcher, so kind of like a pitcher meets a jar form. They'll have a little handle here to allow you to pour. It's a really neat form, and it's one of the more desirable forms in American stoneware as it stands. But in central Pennsylvania, this is kind of a thing. Like if you collect Cowden and Wilcox stoneware, you love to get a hold of a Cowden and Wilcox batter pail. So this is the only J.B. Leathers batter pail we have ever seen or are aware of. A couple sales ago, I guess it was, we were really privileged to be able to handle a JB Leathers chicken waterer, which is also likewise unheard of. That was undecorated. And even without blue decoration, which, as I like to tell people, we're always getting emails from people who want us to let them know what their stoneware is worth and all that kind of thing for possible inclusion in the auction. And we get a lot of undecorated stoneware emailed to us. And only in rare cases is an undecorated vessel worth something significant, because it's the blue decoration that tends to give stoneware its value. In this case, we have a piece that is primarily valued by its form, because the form is so desirable. So, for instance, just back to that chicken water, that didn't have any blue on it, and it still brought a really fine price, just because JB Leathers work is so desirable. So here we actually have a batter pail decorated. This has to be one of the finest leathers examples in existence. So I just thought this was a great opportunity to highlight JB Leathers because his work is so rare. We rarely have an opportunity to show that in a video. And then real quick, ironically, sometimes we get things in at the last minute even after the catalog's been printed. We received this just yesterday. So this is going to be sold on Saturday as an addendum as well. And this is a nice JB Leathers bowl-shaped piece. What's neat about it is, not only is it a rare thing to begin with, but it's got two maker's marks on it. So it's got the mark here, they stamped it here again, and this even has kind of a double stamp where it didn't take correctly and they redid it. So it's really neat, really cool JB Leathers thing that just came in the door at the last minute. But anyway, we're really happy to offer these things on Saturday. Thanks for watching.